Alrighty, folks, welcome back once again here now to the North American ESL One New York closed qualifiers here. We're heading into our next series now. We just saw Cloud9 take down L4 Org in a 2-1 fashion. Now we're moving on here to see the new Renegades, now armed with JZ Walkings, previously played for teams like Crowns Esports and I believe Fnatic Academy as well, along with a couple others in there. Going up against compLexity, of course, which has also had a few changes in the recent weeks. They have Ye on their roster. I don't remember exactly how long ago it was when they added Ye, and then Peter as well coming on in the last couple of weeks. And I'm still here with Little Man. So as we are getting started with our first map, Little Man, how do we see this series going in general?
It'll be interesting. JZ Walking, I think, is an opera, right? So
correct, yeah.
So we could see double out from JZ Walking and Nifty. But I'd probably favor Renegades in this matchup. Probably 2-1, I'd say. I
think he can. I'm trying to remember because it's been a while since I've had a chance to watch his gameplay. But if I remember properly, I'm pretty sure he's actually pretty decent at rifling too. So I think he could do either one really if he just wants to take on a more standard role, or if he wants to be the primary opper, which is what I'd imagine they'd use him for. But I guess we'll find out. As we are going live into the pistol round and the action's getting started. Quick trades from Peter after he still got that first kill going on against Def. Ye follows it up with one of his own two. He's able to move in there, knocking out Nifty. And now just two remain for the Renegades side. It's JKS, the new man on the team. JKS is going to get one. Unfortunately for JZ Walking, he gets nothing. And compLexity do take control of the first pistol here on T side.
That was a pretty clean ladder Ivy split. And Ye and Peter both got the 2Ks on compLexity side, so sure this to be knocking off a little rust for Renegades. I don't know if they've been practicing recently on the player break, so
yeah, that's the other thing we haven't talked about much today, as well as a lot of the players are now like kind of just coming back from the break as it's only getting started. So I imagine some of the other guys that haven't had especially for those that made like roster changes and stuff, that haven't had an opportunity to kind of work through that just yet, are going to be a little bit rough in these qualifiers. And we already saw that with three of the teams who apparently haven't even finished coming back from the player break yet, as they haven't solidified their rosters. With three teams drop out of the qualifier yesterday because their rosters aren't finished yet. So things are a little bit chaotic right now in the NA scene as everything's trying to staple itself down here, specifically for Optic Immortals, and I think it was Misfits was the other one that ended up dropping out in the qualifiers. But in the second round, Renegades don't invest anything at all, so you should expect this one to be played in a relatively straightforward fashion. Yustillo, Azur, and JZ Walkings, all three of them just going to be working with PT50s, and that's the only investment they have. Just going to be a couple of USPs besides that, Nifty and JKS playing with those. And we're really just going to have to wait and see if they can find any real impact here. Best hope would be for JZ Walkings to maybe pick up a couple headshots working over towards Ivy Tons, but more realistically, as you can see, they're already paying attention for something like that. So it's going to be a little bit tough to make any real impact here on the CT side in a round like this with how heavily they've saved up. Nifty first up to bat here to take some action, but not going to go too well. JKS does trade onto one, but that's the only one they've traded onto so far. JZ Walkings falls pretty quickly in the old bomb tunnel, and well, he still gets a nice little one tap there, finishing off Slemmy. Peter takes him down after that one, though, so it's a very straightforward round for compLexity.
yep, and probably another save by Renegades to try to get those ops going right away.
Renegades
are gonna nade stack though.
Renegades always buying really passively on the second and third round, so this is not too uncommon to see this, and they do have the nade stack coming in as well, as you had mentioned, so let's see where they're going to try and throw these at. Looks like there's right in a T-Con, the normal spot where you'd have this happen, and it might connect too. Ye gets it pretty heavily by it, loses just over half of his HP. Problem is, though, like I said before, they don't have any guns, so they don't have any real big firepower to try and finish off these players if they damage. They do manage to find one back over here on the ramp, though. It's Azur, long range with that USP, spamming down Def. Slemmy gets a trade after that one, gets himself a little bit further into the site, but quickly backs out as the rest of Cole do decide to push over here into the outer bomb site. It's going to be JKS and Yustillo as the main players here trying to hold on to Yustillo. Wants to get a little bit more aggressive, pushing out through that smoke. JKS gonna not have the best of luck here. Yustillo tried to surprise against Peter too. He kind of uses his teammate as bait a little bit, but didn't really work out. He even went down first, and then JKS, last to fall, will secure the round for compLexity, 3-0 on the start.
And that also stacks compLexity's economy as well, because they didn't really lose anyone in those 2 rounds, so they got a good money start to the 4th round here.
Lost a total of 5 players in the first 3 rounds combined, so it's pretty light. And now in that first gun round, well, it's going to be pretty standard investment for the Renegades here. They do get the op, but obviously it's not going to have much built up behind it. It's just the op itself along with standard armor. And the other 4 players, they are going to be able to buy up fully with rifles and everything. Nifty actually had a second chance there too. He's been caught moving, finally has the opportunity to take a shot at EA, but then misses it. So now he's going to be pushing forward. And I guess this does answer the question, at least for right now, about who is going to be the primary opper, as I know that was something a lot of people were asking when JZ Walkings came onto the team. So it looks like Nifty's got it for the time being, but that could still change, as I've noticed that before when there's been like a contested role, that sometimes they kind of switch it around a little bit, especially in the first couple weeks, just to try and trial it a little bit. So it wouldn't be too surprising to see if JZ Walkings and Nifty kind of trade it off from time to time.
And we see Azure in the ladder here, so like I talked about in the past match, ladder aggro.
And facing off against possibly Slemmy if he decides to go down. It is just a standard setup to execute towards inner right now. The bomb stuck in T-Con, I believe. That they'd have to go back and grab that. But they are getting ready to deploy more utility down inside of the ladder room. You can see Azure getting hit a little bit by a nade. Not much, though. He was able to dodge a majority of the damage and then pops the smoke off, too. He's got a little bit of an angle you can see there still. So if anyone on the T side thinks that they can dive into that smoke and hide in it, they're going to be incorrect, as Azure can still see through that partially and would be able to see someone jumping down. Well, with time getting very low here for compLexity, they're finally going to move into execute, but they've got nothing done. They got 0 map control leading up to this one. They don't have a lot of utility to get into this site with, so I'm confused about what the plan is. Right now, they're just getting ripped to shreds. Look at this, 1, 2, 3 kills already for the Renegades. A 4th maybe, but no, Peter. He's going to be able to trade back against JZ Walkings. He gets knocked out through the smoke, but Peter obviously not going to be able to do anything in terms of winning this round. His time's going to run out in a second here. And he's just going to look to save the op.
Nice shots by Nifty, just shutting the outer take by compLexity. I always like watching Nifty. His like mechanical skills are just so good.
And indeed, he has a good start to the map itself there with the 3K on the op, and hopefully can carry that through. JZ Walking still going to be sticking with the rifles. He's actually having kind of a rough patch here at the beginning. And I imagine people were going to be asking this as well. He does have an NA equivalent ping, so I believe he is actually in North America as well. So he's not playing from Europe like you often see happening on a lot of these NA teams that draft European players, and they have them play from Europe for the first like week or two while they're getting their visa. Not the case here. He's already in America as far as I can tell, or NA, and is currently playing here. So again, default for Cole. Not a lot of action happening at the beginning couple seconds of the round, so I'm a bit worried that they're going to try to duplicate what they did in the last round. They need to execute first off way earlier because they did not leave themselves enough time to get into the site last round, and they kind of just got destroyed because most of their utility was used before they even executed too, so that was a big problem for Cole in that last round. We'll see if they can make up for that one, though, as it looks like they're moving a bit more decisively this time towards the back of B, but they still have 2 players outside of T-Con, so it's still a little bit disjointed as we're going under the 1 minute mark.
Maybe outer fake to inner, looks like.
And that's what they're going to be doing as they do hold those 2 guys outside of T-Con to deploy smokes. And Cole now get ready to move in. JKS, the only player in here right now to defend it, so he's in a hot spot. He's out in the open, too. The good news is that's not a very common spot to be played, so he at least gets 1 kill for himself. Unfortunately, after that, the T's flood the site very quickly and even take out players over on A as they have death movement, just kind of to knock out a few of these rotators if he can. He got 1, but then went down a moment later to Azure. The damage has been done, though, as he's been kept out of the site, and it's allowed for compLexity to get a great amount of control in the meanwhile. Now Nifty trying to lurk forward on top of the yellow train. Gonna hop around there, too. Wanted to go for the quick flick onto Ye, but missed it, and so Ye is going to take him down. Azure, though, gets a very quick trade and brings it down to a 2v2, but time, once again, is getting low here, and this time it's the Renegades that have time working against them. They're going to try to push forward, flashbang, but it's way too late. It's a miracle that JZ Walkings is even alive, to be completely honest. Trying to push up the bomb, but just can't make anything happen. Gets at least 1 more kill going there and trades for an AK, but now he's going to run for it. Hopefully he can get far enough away from the bomb, and it looks like he just made it. 2 HP at the end of the round itself, but he'll save, and now actually upgrade to an op too, so he at least does that.
Yeah, that was a good fake by compLexity. I liked how Def went out and actually tried to sell the fake, and he ended up getting a kill, so it sold the fake. JKS got caught out in a bad spot, and they capitalized on it.
And so with that should reset the losing bonus for the Renegades. You can see that they've decided to go, well, they have enough money, I should say, to really go for a pretty decent force here, actually, all things considered. It has the op on Nifty that was saved on the last round, the 2 M4s, the two umps as well, and those will provide most of the utility for the team. So they actually have a pretty decent buy going here. You don't want to count them out just yet. But if they do lose this one, that's where it does get rough, as they get reset. They have to save for at least 1 round, maybe 2. And Cole at that point, nice shot from Peter. Cole at that point are going to take nice control of the early scoreline on T-side train as well, which is definitely something that's going to be hurting the Renegades. They want to try to get early CT side control, and going down like 1-6 or something like that is not going to help their case in the long run here. After getting that pick on the JZ Walkings, though, everyone kind of grouping up in a very similar fashion to what we saw in the last round, having one player towards T-Con and the rest going back up into the box halls themselves. In fact, this time, Renegades are actually going to push T-Con to check this. So they're going to know that it's an interplay. But are they going to realize it quickly enough? They should start to realize this now. We can see additional rotates. Nifty's cheating over there to support JKS as they all get stacked up. In a moment, Azur's going to be working his way through Z2. And then you have Ustillo on the flank. In about 5 to 10 seconds here, he's going to be able to impact. He can actually push up and do quite a bit of damage before they even start the execute, because no one is looking for this right now. You can see this. Ustillo just waltzing right up there, and he's got 2 players lined up. Unfortunately, he doesn't chain them together as well as he would have liked, so he's only going to get that 1 kill and then fall back. Happy to just give the info to his teammates. And now as the rest move in, Ye getting a first kill, but JKS with the lineup to trade up for 2 more, and Nifty sniping one from the back lines of the site as well. It makes quick work of most of Cole's setup, and now Peter's just alone, sitting over here outside of the boxes, even in the White Halls, looking for the trade on that lurker, but not going to find him. Ustillo takes down 1 more player and closes it out for the Renegades.
Yeah, and that's a reset for compLexity. I like the play by Renegades. They adjusted, they lost the guy, but they had to get info. So they pushed mid, got that info, rotated inner, and stacked inner. And I also like that Ustillo got a kill, caused havoc, but just stayed alive. Didn't die, caused havoc, and just stayed alive.
He didn't overcommit to that play over in the box halls there and lose his life in what could have been like a 2-for-1 trade or something. He was happy, like I said, to just get the 1 kill and hand the info over to his teammates. This time around, fast moves from Cole to get to the box halls, but even faster moves from JKS to get there with an op and take down Def early on here. More players trying to lurk their way out into the open too. We could see Ye trying to go towards Olaf there, but JZ counters that one off. I believe that might have been his first kill on the board too. He's been struggling a little bit up to this point with that position back over there towards Ivy is where he's traditionally been playing, but they changed it up a bit for this round since it's an eco. And JKS does spot the ramp play. I think it's ripped up with a deagle, but he has another teammate to support him in the back line. Oh no! What? Slemmy! Someone gets that double kill right there against JKS and Ustillo in the open with a P250, and he gets a massive amount of work done. Now he's got an op to play with here too. Oh no! Almost clips that player. Hits him just partially through the train. So Nifty, by the luck of the draw, survives that one with 16 HP. And now Azur, he's going to try to turn this one back around. Complete the round for the Renegades. This is up to Slemmy here, but he's picked up 1. Trying to hide in the smoke if he can. Bursting out, and no! He will go down to Azur, and the round will go to the Renegades.
Yeah, if you're compLexity, you have to be happy with that round. You got 3 kills off pretty much nothing and a bomb plant. So, looking at your Renegades economy, they're going to have to rebuy at least 3 of them. So.
They did save 2 ops though, so they do get that nice double op setup. That's going to be most of where the money would have been spent on the rebuy. And now they only have to worry about M4s and whatnot, some of which can just be bought by those that save themselves, so we can see the ops getting tossed around a bit. Secondary op's not even going to go to JZ Walkings this time, actually. It's going to go over to JKS, so that's interesting about the way that they played that, considering JZ Walkings' history. But still your standard style here from Renegades, but they're going to get a lot more aggressive, at least towards the outer bomb site. Still keeping it pretty typical with JKS being that lone defender in B. They're definitely banking on there being an outer hit sometime soon with this 4-man stack. And Azur also going to be your point man still to defend inside of ladder room. He can hear them tossing out nades up there, so he's going to know for sure that there's definitely some presence up on top. And he'll be paying attention to try and counter that. In fact, it looks like they're bringing JKS back a little bit more here too, now that he's deployed the smoke. But he'll still be staying in the site, just changing his position, and he still is even going to join him as well. They're going to need to go back in a few moments, though, as it looks like Cole's getting ready to deploy towards that outer site. Keep in mind, obviously, Cole not working with a whole lot of firepower here, only those P250s and the AK.
Yeah, Ye got an AK. I don't know if he missed spot there or what, but he's sitting at $400 after that AK buy.
So it might have been a missed call or something like that, because their money was at a point where they probably could have forced it if they wanted to, but maybe he had a little bit more than he thought the rest of his teammates had. Nifty, though, was going to take him out right from the start, and now the AK goes into the hands of Andrew, but he doesn't have armor sitting behind it. In fact, the only other player with armor is halfway across the map, and it's Slemmy. Nifty ready to hold this one back off, but he gets overwhelmed. Slemmy and Def both picking up kills on the way into the site. Now it's up to JKS. It's a good thing he cheated over here earlier and abandoned the B bomb site, as they have that out, they have that presence, but they're still falling to pieces somehow here. As they're getting 1 more kill, JKS trying to look for 1, but now he's stuck here behind the bomb train, trying to work near his teammate. He goes down, and so does Ustillo, so somehow compLexity pull off that round.
Yeah, some sloppy play by Renegades. I don't know. So they're going to be on an eco here, unless they force into this round to try to break complexity.
And I doubt they will with that kind of money. There's really no room for it. So they're all going to completely save, and that's going to really give complexity to the driver's seat here, as there is no reason why we should see an upset on a round like this. Just a single P250 on Nifty is all the entire team has bought. And yeah, it looks like they're just going to try to heavily push into the back box walls. That might overwhelm Def, but that would be the biggest kill they'd get. They dink him. He knows there's more on the way, though, so he does get support from Slemmy. And Slemmy even kills Azur, who tried to sneak up the ladder there. He's trying to surprise a few members from Cole. Didn't work out, though, and now it's just JZ walking, sitting on the back bomb train. He's not going to last very long either. Complexity up to 6 here now, doubling the scoreline of the Renegades, but it's just as they're about to get into another buy round.
Yeah, they could have even like saved one more round there, but they're going for the buy. 2 umps, 2 M4s and an op.
So let's take a look at this gun round here now. As the Renegades, like I said before, they did have to go down to umps again in order to get enough utility. And one of those is going to be played towards the inner bomb site. Nifty gets the first kill, though, and Ye trades it back. He takes down Nifty, who was hiding out back towards Olaf there. Solo, though, on top of the train itself. Very aggressive playstyle, again, from the Renegades around CT side, by the way. Very forward, very pushed up. And it seems to be working for the most part in the early round. Just it's just kind of in these other situations where complexity manages to tear them apart. So Renegades will once again have a huge advantage in a 4v2. We'll see if Cole's going to have the ability to turn this around, but they do seem kind of flustered right now. Back inside of the white box halls, trying to catch anyone from the Renegades that may push into them. That was really what they were banking on right now. But they're not going to get that after that initial aggression. Renegades do kind of hold themselves back a bit and just split up 2-2 to fight in whichever site. Complexity decide to send both Android and Slemmy towards, and Slemmy almost just burns out right at the start there. He's forced up the steps, or forced up the ladder, after O'Malley goes down in his room. Android still has another good, 15 to 20 seconds before he's going to be in position to execute, but he has a whole massive utility that he can use as well, so he's actually going to be pretty safe to push in towards Ivy, assuming he doesn't just get completely wrecked by JZ as soon as he pushes it, so we'll see in a second here. As he's now back, and he spotted the peek from Slemmy, so there's one. And now all he has to do is hunt down Android. He doesn't know he's coming from Ivy just yet. So Android still has that slight element of surprise. He's found him now, but also finds his death. As Android pushes in, gets that first kill. 3 more to go. And this is where the utility comes into play. Pops it off. Doesn't catch the peek from Ustillo. Back over at the old bomb tunnel, though. And Renegades close out on their 4th round as a result of that.
Yeah, it would have been nice if Android or Slemmy got like 1 to 2 more, but they got 1. And Renegades live with 3, so...
And so, this now puts Renegades again into a good position. You can see that they've been slowly fighting back a little bit here. Ever since the gun round, things have gone pretty much back and forth between these teams. There's no one team that's had a massive advantage here. It's actually been a relatively closely fought map. Complexity still has the advantage at the moment, mainly because of their pistol and the next 2 gun rounds, or next 2 anti-ecos that they won after that. But ever since then, like I said, it's been very back and forth. They haven't established solid control. And JC, good read, actually, catching the boost there, or at least believing that it was going to happen. Tries to spray and doesn't get a whole lot of damage done, but he doesn't take a lot in return either. Only gets brought down to 87 HP. The rest of Cole pushing into the backlanes is still setting up for, again, primarily just the default again here, as they have Ye and a few others in the back halls, but a few more sitting right outside of T-Con. So they've kept the options open. They've used this type of setup before to try and go towards inner, but there is the possibility to split this up and go outer too if they want to. But I believe this one may end up working itself. No, they've got the bomb inside of T-Con, so...
Yeah, I think they're just pushing back Brown Hall. They pushed Nifty back out because he had a lot of info. Now they're making him play a solid 3-2.
Yeah, so probably still going to be working itself towards the outer bomb site here as they do once again find themselves a little bit lower on time, closing in below 40 seconds. They hit that nice first entry, though, and that's going to pretty much solve the time issue right from the start after getting that kill. Not going to spend another 5 seconds hunting that guy down. They move in, they lose one of their own, but they're going to clear out an additional player. However, Nifty pushing in, and Android's in a really poor spot right now. That smoke is the only thing that saved his life and allowed him to trade back on the JZ Walkings. Ye trying to spray through the smoke himself. He knows he's got Nifty stuck in the corner, but the wall's in the way, so he has to push forward where it opens up an opportunity for JKS to get another kill. However, he peeks right into the op of Peter, who will close out on the round for Cole.
Yeah, and that's another reset for Renegades. So just back and forth, controlling the economy on complexity side, and we'll see what Renegades decides to do. Like you said before, they like to play safe with our money and safe for ops, so we'll see.
Yeah, and without any other saves from the Renegades off the previous round there, compLexity, I don't expect them to have any troubles this time. We did see, of course, the Eco round from before, but that was, again, compLexity winning that one, and Renegades has not fought back a whole lot on their Ecos just yet either. So they're still struggling in that department, but they're also keeping up with the aggression despite, you know, basically not having a whole lot of bot here at all. They have the one Deagle again, but that's it. So they're just going to try to pace things together with just raw speed in terms of them not having any firepower to play with, as they push very quickly on this flank. The guys from compLexity see it coming from a mile away, however. Android and Def cleaning up shop in those back white halls. Bomb goes down on the other site, and again, JZ Walking's left as the last man standing, as he usually is, back over here patrolling towards Ivy. So not a whole lot that he could do anyway, as Def takes him out to close on the round. No pause yet for either team either, as the trades have been consistent enough in rounds for either one to think that they actually need to take a moment to themselves. So the Renegades will once again be on a save here, as they are double saving, like you said before too. With their money being very important to them, they're not going to be one to try and half buy in between these. They just go for the all-out save, Deagles and P250s, while compLexity is fully armed to the teeth with everything they need. 4 AKs and the op for Peter. Yay, down at 84 already as he walks to the molly, but he's still going to push in. However, his aim is way off as he goes diving downstairs. Thankfully, he doesn't get any more kills, but now we have a few others trying to take the duel at long range here. JZ Walking specifically is able to get one down there. He takes down Def, but that's going to be it. Slummy trades him out after that one. This is still a lot of damage being taken from Cole for the overall buy. It's actually down to a 1v2 now at the hands of Nifty, who's managed to scavenge an op off of Peter's corpse on a flank here. And he's denying the plant right now. So he's got that going for him, and there's the quick shot. Hold on, now he can win this one out, and almost did it, but I think right at the end there he got aim punched and it messed him up. So Slemmy takes him down, and compLexity do indeed still win it out. That's still a good round for the Renegades, though, with how much damage they did.
Yeah, Slemmy's been playing lights out for compLexity too. He's sitting at 15 kills. Had a 4K that round.
And so with that, he continues to lead for his team at 15 and 7 on the scoreboard. The next two highest are Peter and Android, both with 10. Everybody pretty close together. Besides that, though, on the compLexity side of things. And once again, now that we have gun rounds back in play, it looks like compLexity is actually going to turn up the heat a little bit in terms of the speed. They're moving very, very quickly to get control of the back box halls, and even moving out towards upper, too. JKS is not even ready for that one. Good bounce nade does massive damage, and he finishes off Android. It's not long though before he finds himself down on the ground, and Ustillo just barely able to hold on. With only 12 HP, survives that battle against Def and takes him down. So leaves things into a 3v4, but Cole has great amounts of control on the site. In fact, you've got Slummy over here on the side lane, which could be a huge pain if they're not careful and they don't pay attention to him. He is trying to move over into Sandwich, though, but it works out okay. Finds Ustillo, loses another teammate just seconds later, though, and now trying to take a duel versus JZ Walking's, losing it. Leaves Peter to clutch this in a 1v3, missing that op shot. He does not have a molly to try and toss back down onto the bomb. There's also just the smoke on top of it anyway. Peter knows he's really not going to clutch this, so he's falling back, saving the op. He's going to let Renegades get a 5th round.
compLexity can still buy this last round, so that's good. Good solid buy.
Yeah,
Peter has the front spawn as well. He might go for a mid pick here. That was his favorite move, so if he does that.
Nope.
Going Ivy.
He's going to route over that way. And he's not going to beat anyone on the CT side there either. Nifty, though. Look at him. He's hopping out. He got hit by the flash, though, so that's going to kill his plans as a peak. But he can still find Peter, and that's exactly what he'll do. Drops down the smoke pretty quickly after that one, and then he'll pop flash, fall back, take up a different position, let JZ Walkings take over this role, and that's Renegades setting up their defense very, very well early on. Not only getting the early kill, but solidifying their positions. However, because of the fact they didn't push up this time, they did let more players from Cole out from T-Con, and you could see Ye trying to push forward. He fell back, though, just a couple seconds later. So really only moved forward just for a little bit of a scare against the Renegades. Didn't actually get much done. And now compLexity seems kind of stuck here. They've got Def ready. He's waiting out smokes currently. The guys in T-Con are clear, but obviously it's T-Con, so there's going to be a lot of focus on that. And Android, similarly to the guys at the ladder room here, he's going to stuck, not behind a smoke necessarily, but he is stuck behind the K's of an op. So he has to find his own way to get past that and get into this site. And after some delay, it does look like they are getting ready to deploy utility, as they have this default lined up, and they're definitely going for it. So it's on Def primarily there to go back up and get the bomb as they clear the site and get themselves in. And it's going to be Android that starts us off. He gets that first kill against the Opper. That's Nifty gone down. You still is going to quickly rotate over. And in a second, JKS should too once they see how heavily this push is moving in. JZ Walkings holds for 1 kill, but it's a heavy cost to his own HP. He's down at 14, which now Slemmy's going to finish off. They have another player low too, but he's staying out of danger, at least up until this point when he pushes in. Able to get 1 kill and an assist on a second as it's down to Android now. The plan not meaning anything at this point. Android has to clutch as he pushes out. They've jumped onto the bomb, but they're only tapping it, finding this 1 kill, but the remaining 2 will be able to push him from the side, knocking him out pretty easily and securing a 6th round for the Renegades as they do close out on the half. Still behind, which is a bit unfortunate for this CT side, but they are still close, and 1 pistol round could change that and allow them to tie this up at 9-9. So going into the T side here now for the Renegades, how do we think things are going to change, little man?
Well, you need to get the pistol for sure to make it close, I'd say. And then, unless he could. But, I don't know, I haven't really watched Renegades that much. I don't know what they like to do. I'm sure Nifty will have some mechanical plays that he likes to do. He's the in-game leader for them now, right? Pretty sure.
Yeah, he is, I think. Unless they changed it.
Yeah. I like to see where they would put JZ Walkings if he's a Brown Hall guy or Ivy guy or T-mid.
I'm really surprised they haven't given him the op a little bit more just to play with it at least, because
yeah,
if you watch some of the highlights from him, he's crazy with it. So, and it didn't really. Obviously, we can't see the scoreboard in game because I think these are being played on the SCA, which means you don't see the scores at halftime. But I'm pretty sure he was actually struggling pretty hard in the first half. At least in the first like couple 5 or 6 rounds there, he only had like 1 or 2 kills. So he was lagging behind for a large portion. I have to check again and see if he ever really came back into the match, but it didn't seem like he was doing too well in the first half there.
Yeah, I don't know what he played on his past teams, if he was an Ivy guy or not, but he's got the Ivy role, so the Ivy role's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of hard, like, you either have to have an opper support you, or just like, shoulder peek and then smoke it off, and that's all you can really do.
Which is kind of what they kind of switched to having the opper supporting him a little bit later on, because it's the start, it was just him, and he, like I said, he wasn't really doing the greatest job. He was getting knocked out a lot of the time without too many trades. I think they eventually did switch over to having the opper supporting him, so it worked a little bit better towards the end. But yeah, he is currently lowest on the team. It's 6-13, whereas the highest is JKS, who was that solo B player in the last half. Now at 13-12. Let's see if he fares any better on the T side, though, as we are going live into the second half. Now with Renegades on the T side and compLexity jumping onto the defense with the advantage. And we'll see if they can keep that advantage, if they can win this second pistol. If they do, then that's great for them. Then potentially they could have a massive scoreline lead over the Renegades here. But if not, then Renegades will very quickly be able to tie this back up. And they're moving in. They've dinked 2 players already. They've taken down 1. There's the second. The third should come in a minute here. And there you go. JKS getting that kill. All the defenses just completely lies down. It's up to Slemmy now in a 1v5, what it would be. Clean first 2 kills. He knows where a third one is. I'm pretty sure he knows where JZ Walking is, too. Back over here behind this train. But he just can't really afford to push up and find him. Now he knows where Nifty is. He spotted him there, so he's looking for a peek from him. He's got to take this very carefully as he moves forward here. Flash kind of wrecks him, so he is out in the open. He's got a smoke as well to throw over to the bomb and dive on that, along with a kit, so he has extra time. Renegades is switching to playing this smarter. They're not really giving him as many peeks anymore. Now he's going to move in, trying to find JZ Walkings, but he cannot get that kill. JZ Walkings will take him down, and the Renegades will secure the second half pistol.
And compLexity already forcing it into this round. Didn't even think about it, so we'll see how Renegades plays towards that. I assume just like one guy spotting mid, sitting far back, Brown Hall and Ivy.
Which is not going to be too surprising now to see compLexity buying into basically the opposite of the spectrum from the Renegades here. compLexity is a little bit more okay with going for these force buys, whereas Renegades do want to focus on just the gun rounds, and they don't want to really factor up with any half buys or anything like that. This round obviously being an exception because they won, so they have the Mac 10 on Azure, but you can even see just in the style of the buy here that they're definitely more gun round focused. The 3 AKs immediately in the second round, and Nifty going with a scout. Noach is going to lead them with a little bit of a
I feel like that's important on train too. Like, it's hard to from range, so getting the AKs is good.
Well, Well, they started off with 2 quick kills back over here towards T-Con. Android and Peter tried to push towards it. Either side of the initial pop dog, they both go down. And so just 3 remain on the CT side, all of which are outside too. So if Renegades follows through with this this outside player they're currently looking into, then it is probably going to go right into the Hornet's nest, but still only Deagles and that Scout to hold things off, so that's still a little bit of a weak defense. 2 of them do have armor, so at the very least have that, but in a moment, Ye is probably going to be the first one to get tested here as he's playing towards Ivy now. Waiting this one out. Tag actually coming in from the Scout player there. I think he brought Nifty down pretty low, but Gazzer is going to move in to take him down. Ye with a good Deagle shot, but it only lasts for that 1 kill, so it now leaves Slemmy alone in a 1v4. Trying to find a Deagle shot, just unlucky. Can't find anything there. Tags him finally, but no kills at all. Hazard's going to knock him out, and it's Renegades up to 8. 1 more, and this should be the full save from Cole.
Yeah, I expect just the same stuff. Just one guy spotting mid, sitting far back, Brown Hall and Ivy. Unless they might go fast with Molotovs and just Molotov everything out too. That's another good eco.
compLexity are going to 5-man stack over towards A. Renegades, unfortunately for compLexity, going the complete opposite direction. Actually, hold on, no, they all just dove down into the ladder room, so I take that back. They are going to go out onto this site. Won't matter much. They have a pretty easy cleanup here. Peter sneaking off 1 kill. And Peter was allowed to run up and get that 2nd kill too, apparently. But JZ Walking's finally knocking him out. And now we are tied at 9-9. And the gun round will decide who gets the lead in the early portions of the second half.
Yeah, but since compLexity Force are kind of like low on nades, they all have smokes, which is good, but no Molotovs or anything. And no kits, so.
Yeah, no mollies or HEs to play with here, so Cole is going to have to play this very kosher in terms of their utility usage. They can't afford to hold off any rush plays. They're not going to get that. Renegades playing into this a little bit more passively now, and they flash out over here into T-Con pretty well. So that is going to let them have players out in the open and much more forward to try and take some of these duels. Elsewhere on the map, though, Ustilla was able to push back Def, pushing him further into the site, and Android patiently waits on the ladder room to see if anyone is going to come in his direction, but
Def wasn't always the inner guy. They had Desi before, so that's a new role to him. I've noticed that. So,
I mean, if you're going to put anyone there, Android seems like the right choice, though, considering how some of the individual plays that he's able to pull off, even on like eco rounds and stuff, he's pretty independent.
Yeah, he likes his ladder as well.
So now, with time getting a little bit lower and Renegades not having accomplished a whole lot just yet, Renegades are going to fall back and what looks like fade into just a straightforward play towards the outer bomb site now. But compLexity doesn't really have a whole lot of focus towards T-Con, with the exception of the one guy they have in ladder, which could throw them off, but most of them are back over in the Ivy lane. Nobody's checking for ladder room, though, so Android just moves out, gets that first kill for free. He's going to call himself for the time being, as he's going to wait and see if any of his teammates on the bomb train itself can do any damage, but at the end of the day, he still is going to be forced out into the open. Was really hoping he could find 1 or 2 players still sitting up in the White Halls, but they're all long gone. Everybody pushed into the site. And with the site being fully taken control of now by the Renegades, and I mean, Def losing that much HP, they are going to be forced away. And more than likely, both these CT players are going to save, and they'll let Renegades take the lead.
Yeah, like you said, they didn't really have any eyes on team mid, and they just exploded out, caught him off guard, and picked the Ivy guy. So, caused some chaos on the compLexity side.
Losing Def too, so that seals it. Android now going to be sitting over here right in T-spawn. He might, let's see, no, I don't think he can be spotted by that guy on Ivy that's way back there. Nifty, you can see, is trying to chase him down, but Nifty just checking all the corners and stuff. And he hasn't seen Android behind this pallet just yet, and I don't think he can see his barrel sticking out, so he's pretty safe right here. Someone does peek him in a moment, which looks like he still is going to do, and there we go, finds him. So it drops at least 1 more player, trying to keep that money under control, which they're definitely going to want to do, considering where the money's getting to for the Renegades now. JZ Walking specifically had like 10K before he bought right here, and a few of the others still sitting at almost 8,000. Nifty and JKS, they don't have to invest much into this round.
Yep, compLexity going for the full save, but Android still has a rifle from the previous round.
So it's going to be a little bit light this time from Colt, and we should expect the Renegades to take another round off of this one. 11-9. Nice nade as well, catching Def for a pretty decent amount of damage. 37, about 66 done there. That's almost 2/3 of his HP getting knocked away from him. And for Peter, well, he's going to have an unfortunate turn of events as he gets mollied right out into the open, and they followed up with another one too. Slemmy also peeked up to try and defend Peter, but he goes down. Yay, finally getting something going here for the compLexity side as he moves in and takes down Nifty. But it's a small victory, and Yay is still stuck right outside of T-Con with not a whole lot of positioning to play with. Def, you can see, is trying to slowly rotate in too, but he suffers from the same fate. Doesn't know a whole lot about where exactly the Renegades went after they moved in and took control. He does know probably that both Still and JZ Walkings are low, however, so he's definitely waiting for them to push back out, seeing if he can punch that. And there you go, gets one, and falls directly after that one. And the offer, Yay, is going to get pinched here, but he does have an opportunity to respond to it. He doesn't get immediately taken down due to JKS kind of whiffing on the spray a bit. So Yay's going to have the opportunity to try and play this back out as he's surrounded. Basically just trying to back up. His opponents went into the other site in the meanwhile, though, so he's not really going to be able to stop them from planning. And JKS eventually takes him down anyway, so Renegades secure the 11th round, and their money continues to soar as they do kind of clean up here, only losing 2 players, which is going to let the T-side economy build up.
Yeah, that's 6 straight for Renegades. So. Or 5, actually. Going on 6.
It's the setup for compLexity is actually very similar to what we saw from the Renegades. Maybe a little bit more passive on the outer site, but they're also focusing on just having one player play towards inner, and that's Def, who should have heard 2 or 3 players shooting their guns right there, so might be calling that out to cheat a second player over just to be safe. Now they have a double op setup. They can easily afford to do that. Yay is going to move in to watch for upper, and Def will just sit behind the spindles here, waiting for any ramp play. Renegades aren't going to be moving in anytime soon, though I believe that they're also going to be willing to run the timer down a bit more. Not nearly as much as compLexity was willing to do, but they may wait another 15 to 20 seconds, maybe a little bit longer than that, before they start to move in and actually start their execute. Probably towards inner.
Slemmy's pushed up Ivy in a good spot. He's got a lot of info.
And this is where Slemmy can figure out this interplay. Is Nifty's already taken down yet? I think did they boost that to get that kill?
I missed it. I think it was upper though.
Oh, I think he just pushed out upper, yeah. Because he was back on that train, I think. Yay, but I think Nifty just pushed out of upper and found him that way instead of doing that crazy boost. Slemmy, though, on that flank, it's 1 and 2 kills. JZ Walkings and Ustillo both going down to it. So able to find some pretty good impact right there, and now the rest of the team is forced into action simply because they've been flanked out, so they really need to get something going here to get some more control back, and it's not working. Def's able to hold against JKS, so he picks up 1 additional kill there. Moving around, very mobile Def's being, and it works out to give him a second kill against Nifty this time. Finally falls to Azur, but Azur's now alone, and he's not going to last much longer. Android takes him down, and it's compLexity that get themselves a 10th, putting them within 1 round of tying it up against the Renegades.
Yeah, that was a nice round by compLexity. Slemmy got that big flank, got the 2, and then fell away. Didn't get more, didn't try to get greedy, and then that saved the round.
So 3 M4s, full buy overall coming in from compLexity this time, as they do have full utility too after that 1 win. First round they've picked up so far on the CT side. Otherwise it has been a straight streak from the Renegades winning those first 5 rounds. compLexity getting back into it just when they needed to here. Is going to keep the game even, keep the game close. And Chase E, this is where we needed to see him coming into plays. Apparently on the T side, as he instantly knocks out a massive chunk of Slemmy's HP, bringing him down to 7. And the rest of the team sits back near him, waiting for this play to happen. A moment ago, this was a 4-man stack. Still 3 players waiting towards Ivy, which is a pretty heavy amount. And the other 2, well, they've got JZ Walkings falling back completely to lurk over here towards the ladder room. And obviously you still are, excuse me, not you still, the JKS waiting just on the outskirts of T-Con for when they finally want to go for this execution.
Oh no.
Wait, how did he fall?
Oh no, he fell off heaven, I think.
No, did he? Let's see, where is his corpse? Oh
yeah,
no, he did. He fell off heaven.
And he was the only remaining smoke, so...
So Slemmy goes down, and now the rest of the team's going to push in on Ivy here. This could be disastrous for compLexity. They just won the round, too, so they could be reset off this one. Andrew tries to spray, misses it. He's still at full HP after that one. Gives the info to Peter, but Peter misses the up-close encounter. Def is the first to strike here for compLexity. Android getting a second, too, but Android's so low, he's forced back and now taken down by JKS. It's Def alone, and he's already falling away to save. Renegades are going to pick up a 12th now and potentially reset compLexity. Def actually looks like he wanted to route back in to maybe attempt something, but he's going to be cut off on the side in a second here by Nifty, who will finish off the round and secure that lead for the Renegades.
That's unfortunate. And it looks like compLexity's calling a pause.
They need to after that one. As like I said before, not only is their money broke, but they're probably a little bit mad about the way that played out. So everyone, with the exception of Peter, is below 3K, which means the buy is probably not going to be happening. And if it does, at most, it's going to be just a couple of upgraded pistols getting tossed around. compLexity will have to save for this one round and then pretty much have to be perfect from that point forward. They're really only going to have 1 or 2 rounds that they can actually drop after that, as otherwise Renegades should be in a good position to take control of the map itself. Keep in mind, guys, this is a best of 3, not a best of 1, and this is only the first map, so still plenty of time for compLexity and or Renegades, depending on the result of this first map, to bounce back going into the other map.
Yeah, I think if Def killed a couple more there, they probably would have forced into this. I mean, they might still do it, but I don't know. Because even if they save, they're gonna have 1900 the next round bonus. So
the money might be at that point where they just force it just because they're not gonna have enough for the next round anyway.
Definitely a gamble.
This is the pick from compLexity too, so that they're facing potentially losing their map pick and going over to Cobblestone as the second map, where Renegades has a pretty good record, especially against other NA teams.
Yeah, I think compLexity is comfortable on it as well, but it's not like one of their go-to maps, I don't think.
I'd probably put Renegades winning that over compLexity though.
Yeah.
Especially with Jay-Z fitting in a little bit better here now on the T side. I was a bit worried he'd kind of fall behind again, but he came back pretty nicely on the T side, so I think he's definitely a little bit more comfortable playing on T side so far, and it might just be the fact that he's new on the team and not really comfortable that he kind of lagged behind on the CT side a bit. Anyway, going back into the action now as the pause is concluded. While compLexity, like I said before, sits behind, and they did decide to pretty much fully save here with the exception of a couple upgraded pistols. Deagle's PT-50s and the one buy from Def as he had a little bit more cash to spare. Everyone else in the Renegades, of course, fully stacked to the teeth with everything they need. A huge advantage over compLexity in general. But with 3 Deagles in the picture for Cole, that could swing things in the other direction if they're not careful. So they do want to try and take this slowly, play it like it's a normal round. Don't want to go rushing into the sights because, well, that could happen. Android peeking out from the corner right over here in the back halls finds Azur. Still wants to look for you still, although there's one more to be sought over here. And the rest of Renegades falling back from the upper halls too. Both JZ Walkings along with JKS grouping up at T-Con. So they may just go for one big push, which is going to be an opportunity for both Ye and Slemmy to impact, since there won't be any pressure coming out towards the ladder room. They're very focused on the ladder in this. They might be caught off guard by just how many players are pushing in from T-Con. Ye spots at least one of them. More moving in here as Ustillo does a little bit of damage, and it's going to be both Ustillo and JKS to pick up the 2 players on top of the trains and clear out most of the A bomb site. More still rotating back in. Peter and Def trying to, well, Def specifically tried to working his way out of the smoke at ladder room. That doesn't go too well. They take out Android in the back halls. And for Peter, well, he wanted to go on a long route to try and surprise, but with the loss of his teammates, that doesn't look like too smart of a decision anymore. So he is just going to be sitting back here. At most, probably going to be able to look for an exit. At worst, he'll dive in and die to the hands of Nifty, more than likely.
I wonder if they'll buy here, though. I feel like they might save one more.
They kind of have to. They don't really have...
Yeah, it'll be 14. I don't know. Because they bought Deagles, so...
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have enough money to buy next round. They might just buy armor behind the pistols next round. Is what they might do. But that's letting this draw out for a lot longer, because that's gonna let Renegades potentially go up to 14, assuming that they win that round, which is a pretty safe assumption. And yeah, again, Peter, like I said before, just sitting outside of T-Con, waiting for the exits if he can get it. He's gonna have an opportunity. They know he's in here though, so they flash him out, trying to spray. Doing actually a pretty decent amount of damage, and finally gets the kill there against Nifty. Hugging the wall, looking for more. Can't get it done. JZ Walkings will take him down.
That was a good try. That was a good try.
I mean, he potentially could have gotten all 3 of those kills there. Just wasn't hitting the headshots that he was looking for. So Renegades gets that 13th round, though. And like we said before, there really is not enough money, with the exception of Peter, to buy up here. So Peter buys a bit heavier than the rest of them as he goes for a scout buy. But everyone else, once again, is just going to pick up pistols, and a couple players buy up armor behind those pistols. Ye doesn't buy anything at all. He's just sticking with the USP. And now...
It's going to be pop flash.
Now the Renegades, well, they're just going to have to make sure that they don't, again, mess up here, going up against a pretty light buy, so they can get these free rounds. They want to be making sure they're taking minimal losses on these rounds, too, so they can build up the money. The money is good for the Renegades. It's just not amazing yet. They do want to try and probably get a little bit more built up in the event the compLexity start to win out these next series of gun rounds here. as the gun rounds have been very back and forth. Unfortunately, here on this CT side, compLexity just not had a whole lot of opportunities to get gun rounds in the first place. And look at that, the double push up towards ramp, the triple push, actually. I didn't realize the third player was there. Def and Slemmy, though, are the ones that do most of the work, as they headshot out both JKS and JZ Walkings. And now there's a panic push coming out for the rest of the team. Azur, he's going to be mad right now. He's getting tagged like crazy from all sorts of places. He can't even figure out where the first one came from. He's down at 17 HP now after that. The rest of the team still trying to push back in, including Nifty from the ladder room here, who has a great opportunity to just pick off quite a few of these players and even out the numbers a little bit more. He got one. Peter's trying to take him on as well with a scout, and he tags him. He's almost got him low. He's going to beat him with a scout versus an op. Nifty's also got to be cautious of flanks, too, as Slemmy is lurking up behind him. But, oh, Nifty goes right at the ladder, right into the hands of Slemmy. So now he's dead. Trade's continuing to go, but at the end of the day, it's left to use still in a 1v2. Has the lineup against Slemmy, but still cannot take him down. Slemmy ends up with a 3K on the round. And compLexity pick up at 11th on what was essentially just a full save.
Yeah, that was a big flank by Slemmy. It looked like Nifty was going up the ladder to maybe just throw in the towel and save the op for the next round. I don't know.
But throws it away, and compLexity, as a result of that, now get another round quite early. I was expecting Renegades to walk over this one and go up to 14, but that's not the case. Now they're going to come into it with a huge buy, since they've been saving up for the last 2 rounds, and then won this last one with no expectation of that, probably. Ye and Peter are going to be on double ops. They have the AK saved on Android there, 2 M4s for Slemmy and Def, full utility kits for everybody on the CT side. And the Renegades obviously still have a buy going too, since they have this massive just buildup of rounds overall, but how long is that going to last them? Well, not very long, apparently, as their money's already getting pretty low. Azur, though, has a nice lineup early on here, got very quickly into the ladder room, and was able to take down Android, so gets a nice 4v5 advantage. Could turn into a 4v3 in a second as Ye also got tagged down to 9 HP when he tried to peek out towards Ivy, where Renegades have a double stack going. So no luck for Ye there. In fact, he almost just walked into his death.
Pete's got an aggro at mid here on Olaf.
In a moment, Slemmy's going to be working with him too. The flashbang goes in. They knock out JZ Walkings. Slemmy actually does pick up JZ. Well, Slemmy finds JZ Walkings. It's JKS, I should say. That does move out a second later, catches the trade. Was not able to find Peter, though, so Peter successfully fell back. He's going to move up a little bit more towards Ebox. Thought he had that kill. Anyone really could have believed he had that kill. But apparently hits it through some terrain and doesn't get the full kill. Def on the flank, though, finishes off the job for him. Again, clipping players just through the train so slightly. Finding Nifty, bringing him down to 22 HP. Not the full kill yet. There's the kill that we wanted to see as he knocks out Ustillo. I think he did miss JKS crossing. So JKS has got a bit of an element of surprise here. He could take down Peter, and he really needs to. If he misses this, and that's going to be a huge deficit and all. So unfortunate that the rotation worked out in time for Cole, as Ye does just walk right out into the Ivy tunnel to find JKS wandering. Now Nifty alone with only 22 HP and 20 seconds to clutch. He'll find Peter. He knows where at least one more is, but Def is going to spray him down at range, and compLexity pick up their 12th. Once again, just 1 round away from tying it up against the Renegades.
Yep, and now with those 2 rounds back-to-back, compLexity has the economy advantage, so Renegades need to decide if they want to buy here. Looks like they're going with some techs, and then going to buy in the 27th round.
Light buy overall for Renegades, as you were mentioning, in Tech 9s, as every single player is just going to push their way through Whitehalls. After throwing out a few bits of utility into the A-bomb site, everybody pushes together pretty quickly, so Peter and Def already kind of set up for this one. Def's got the nade ready to get lobbed into the back there, too, if Peter spots anything. So he's waiting for the cross. I don't even think they're going to go and sort of form with them. They might just dive right down the ramp right at the start. So Peter calls it out. There's the nade, and they actually do move in. Nicely done. That's a beautiful combo, actually. Peter hits the op shot, doesn't get the full kill, but Def's nade at range there finishes him off. Now, the problem is, though, is they are going to know that there's 2 players in this site, so the Renegades will play probably a little bit more slowly to watch out for that one, but they keep giving Peter these angles. Hits a second shot, potentially get it a third here in a second too, as they do start to swing back out. Flashes are good though, so it restricts the CTs enough for them to get out onto the site and attempt to go for the plant. Def's trying to stop that. He will let them plant just to be safe here, but ultimately still shuts them down and gets a nice 4K on the round.
Yeah, but Renegades is probably happy with that round. They got the bomb plant. That's what the goal was of the strat, so going into this round, they're all sitting at like 6K.
Yeah, and that's going to be a nice amount of cash to work off of here and try to now stop compLexity from shutting them down here in this second half after they had a great start with the first 5 rounds going their way, getting 2 more after they traded 1. But compLexity's lead from earlier on is still haunting them, and they've now brought it back and tied it up for the 3rd or 4th time, I think, so far in this game. But compLexity, also with their own victories, have been able to stack up quite a bit of money. So they've got the double op setup going. Ye is going to be working with it over here at Ivy, and Peter's got it on top of Ticket for when they push out towards T-Con. Ye ready to fight, but eats that flashbang, so he's actually going to let Renegades in and get that free cross, so they're ready to pinch. And he has to use his smoke maybe a little bit earlier than he planned to. He's tossing out nades and whatnot too to try and keep them back for a couple extra moments, but just standard setup for the Renegades here at the beginning of the round. Nothing special going on with this T-side just yet. compLexity, of course, trying to read it, but they've gone away from having the one-man commitment. I believe it was Def before that was the solo player here. Now they're playing it with a two-man team. They got Peter assisting on the second op there from way in the back by the train stoppers. So Renegades will have an easier time of going for just a default play since there's not going to be as much defense set up. For one, they only have to worry about one player at Ivy. There's no way for either of the two other guys to really counter them out as they're both completely focused on the E-box slash ladder room area over here, along with T-Con, obviously, by extension of that. So if Ye goes down, then that's a door being swung wide open, and there's not going to be any room to trade that, at least until they actually start to peek out into the site, and that's dangerous. As more utility starts to be used on this outer site, though, it does draw the attention of more players. Nifty able to catch one at first, but Slemmy and Android striking right back. Now the Ivy players start to push back out. Ye had actually moved away, and in trying to reposition once right into Ustillo, but more wrapping back out, this time from the B-bomb site. Slemmy, Def, all picking up kills. The hit, for the most part, from the Renegades does fall apart pretty quickly, and now Ustillo is stuck in the back here. Nate just completely surrounding him. Nothing he can really do about that situation, and Def will finish off the kill, giving compLexity the lead in a 14th round.
Yeah, it seems like Renegades doesn't really have an answer for a guy if he's in ladder. I thought they would, but Android just keeps getting up in ladder, getting that early pick after they try to execute, and they just don't know how to handle it.
Well, Tech 9s again as Renegades are on a light buy, and this is not necessarily the round where they want to be on that light buy, but they really don't have a choice. They, again, could have tried to go for a much greater force here. However, decided against it, so they're going to play for OT. Assuming they lose this round, they are probably thinking that maybe they can swing off a victory here, as they got pretty close in some previous eco rounds. They're not being quiet about this Ivy push at all, though. You can see Slemmy just pre-firing right into it. They are able to pinch from the short lane here. In fact, they don't even realize that the pinch comes in for the short lane. Slemmy almost loses his life there. Android trying to support him to the best of his ability, and while he does eventually lose Slemmy, Android finishes off the job with a nice double kill there. Spray controlling his way to it. And that puts compLexity up on map point 15-13. And a pause will roll in, I believe, from the Renegades.
Yeah, we really haven't seen any fast play from Renegades. Maybe we'll see something fast, although it is 15-13, so the pressure's on. Usually teams don't do anything very fast, but we'll see what they come up with. Looks like JKS might be thinking about buying an op as well, too. He's at 6,500, hasn't bought yet.
Yeah, they could easily get the... I mean, they still have... compLexity obviously still has plenty of cash to work with here, too, so they were trying to figure out if they were going to give the double op again there, but decided against it. Save a little bit of cash. And then, as you're mentioning over on the T side, JKS can get that double upset if they want to try to work towards that. But that's what needs to be discussed here, because they need to win these 2 rounds perfectly. Otherwise, they're losing this first map.
And JKS has the front sub on, so we might see him like smoke in between and just jump out Olaf and try to make a lurk play from there.
Well, the pause should be concluding in about a minute, I think, if they use the full time. Because we're on the online rules here, so it's not the 30-second LAN rules that everybody's used to. As those LAN rules are pretty much impossible to enforce in online games, so...
Yeah, what's online? Is it 2 minutes? Or
I think it's 2 minutes. It varies, or it always varied from tournament to tournament, I think.
Yeah, when I was playing, it was like sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 30. I don't know.
I think commonly it's 2 minutes though. And then on LAN, obviously it's the 30-second rule because the coach stuff.
Yeah.
But we are going back into it here now as the time has expired, and Renegades are ready to jump back into it. Well, we gotta hope they're ready, as if they drop this round, they're gonna go 0-1 in the series. For compLexity, though, they also have to get ready for themselves. Slemmy so far on quite a bit of a map himself. He gets one more kill, and he's dropping the 30 bomb in regulation. Def not far behind him at 22, but he's also an even KD at 22 and 22, so he's been evenly trading for pretty much his entire map so far. Renegades look like they pushed most of their players into the back halls, but there's someone waiting for them. It's Def downstairs, and he actually gets quite a bit of damage on the JKS. JKS really hungry for that kill, but Def turns around and takes it, so somehow he wins that fight. It's a quick trade from Peter, but Ustillo as well, also finding Android. Peter keeping it alive for his team. Losing himself there. It loses his teammate Ye to JZ Walkings, who goes quickly up on top of Pop Dog, so it's a 2v3 retake. Peter, he's been fighting to the end of the world here, and Slemmy finally getting a piece of the action too as he takes down JZ Walkings with a long-range nade. 2v2, bomb burning on the ground. They can't go for the plant just yet. Peter's going to hope someone over-peaks when they go to pick up that bomb, that he can punish him, but unlikely that they'd go out there. And hold on, he might be able to spot him in a second here, but no, he's not going to get anyone peeking for it, so Azure does go for the plant. And now Slemmy, more than likely, is going to have to be the one to push forward here. I said Peter's so low, but if he sits in the back, he can still do work with that off at low HP. He is following Slemmy, but at a much slower pace. And now Slemmy works his way up there, gets the kill against Azure. It's just on Ustillo here now. He's got that molly, and the CTs don't actually have a smoke to counter it. It was thrown down kind of early, though, so there's still a chance for them to just wait this out, especially after getting that kill. And I think they're good. Slemmy can even dive into it while it's still going there, and they've got a kit. So it's going to be compLexity, guys, to win map number 1. As they do indeed take control 16-13. A close match, but at the end of the day, compLexity does indeed take it. And they'll win map number 1. Map number 2 is going to be on Cobblestone, and that will be Renegades' pick.
Yeah, that was a big map by Slemmy. 31 kills. It's huge.
So with that, folks, we are going to be taking a short break in between the maps, as you're probably used to at this point. When we come back, should be about 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll have that second map ready for you guys. So stick around, and we'll be back here with more between compLexity and the Renegades in just a few.